Hey guys, what's up? This is Portia from The Breast Horror, a breastfeeding mom who obviously loves horror. And as promised, I'm here today to talk about the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre that was released on February 18th of this year on Netflix. And honestly, I've been such a horror fan since I've been like 9, and Texas Chainsaw, obviously I was not alive when it came out in 1973, so the franchise was really new to me when I was young. I think I watched it when I was like 15 maybe. And it was a whole surreal experience to me. Like, I'm going to mention some of the scenes in the past one, like the original movie, that really like stays with me now. And I look up the scene on YouTube sometimes, and just to see like that the film franchise, again, like I said, it has 9 films, has still continued over this period of time. And then the fact that Netflix even thought to make a sequel, I thought was really cool. So I'm basically going to talk about like the characters, some scenes I really liked or didn't enjoy so much, and then like my overall likes of the picture, and then my dislikes. So again, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022. Now, a lot of people have been thinking that this Texas Chainsaw movie was like a remake of the film, but it was actually supposed to be a sequel. So it's set like 50 years, I believe, after the original movie in 1973. And the question I want to ask the most was like, are all the other movies just a bunch of fluff? And like, was this the sequel that we needed? Because on Rotten Tomatoes, like, a lot of people gave it like a trash ass review, and I was like, dang, like, I kind of was like, man, am I gonna enjoy it? Like, because whenever I see a remake or a sequel to a horror film, I'm like, yes, I have to see it. Just like, Candyman, who I still haven't seen yet for some reason. I was super excited about it, but I love to see what people say about it first. But anyway, before we get into the sequel, we'll start talking 1973. So we know Sally, who is in this sequel, survives in 1973, and obviously she pisses Leatherface off. There's like this huge scene at the end where he's like swinging his chainsaw, angry and mad and pissed because she got away. And if you haven't seen the original 1973 film, please go see it. There is this, like, I don't even know how to describe it. There's like this metal door scene where the guy, he's looking for his friends. I forgot his name. I think it's Ray. He's looking for his friends, and he stumbles upon Leatherface's family home, and he goes in looking for help. And Leatherface comes out this door, and he hits him on top of the head, and he just like starts like shaking and gyrating, like his body's in shock. And then he drags him in, hits him again, and then slams this metal door like, he's never going to be seen again. And I feel like that scene is so iconic in horror because they stumbled upon something that they had not ever realized would happen. And it's just like, that there's so much anguish and terror, and shit's just about to get real for them, and they have no idea. So again, like I said, 1973, awesome film. So moving on to this new sequel, 50 years after the original movie, we're seeing new characters, and they really made this kind of fit in our society now. So the main characters are Dante and Ruth, who are boyfriend and girlfriend, and then Melody and Lila, who are sisters. Melody's older sister, Lila's obviously the younger sister. And Dante and Melody are there in Harlow, Texas, where Leatherface is from, basically to regentrify Harlow, like make it a new place, a new community. They're planning on having an auction out some property, some land, just to give it a pop for the new millennials. And they go into this old boarded up house, and they're realizing like it's an abandoned shelter, and there's a woman that's still there. And, they're like, what the hell? Like, you're not supposed to be here because we own the land. Like, we bought this in the auction. Like, you have no right to be here. And the lady's like, well, I have the property papers. I would have made my face up if I knew y'all were coming. And she offers them this old ass sweet tea. And I'm like, nobody wants your old ass sweet tea, bruh. Like, it was just funny because it's like, I don't want that shit. Like, who are you? Like, And so while they're having this conversation, it gets a little heated, and we're realizing throughout the picture, like, there's pictures in the house, and we're realizing that her old boy is Leatherface, and he's been living there, and I guess taking care of her because she's like sick and shit. But there's an altercation, lady dies, yada 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 yada, and the story goes on. I'm not going to tell you everything that happens in the movie. I'm just going to pick up on a couple of scenes that happens. So one, we're seeing that Leatherface is still in this house, in this old abandoned shelter for children. The woman's still there. She's taking care of the house, and Leatherface is, I guess, her son or somebody she's taking care of. So, moving on. Some infamous scenes in this movie, bruh. Okay, first of all, who the hell put Jacob Lattimore in this? And I kept looking at him, and I was like, who is he? He looks so familiar. And I realized that he's the singer, Jacob Lattimore. Man, he had a sick-ass slice and dice scene. When I tell you, his face got chopped and screwed. It got chopped and screwed. It was great. And the way that they did the makeup, I actually got to look at some pictures online of how they did the makeup to make his face look sliced the way it was. It was amazing. The fact that people can do that with makeup and like have a craft for that is insane. But that's a great scene. It's raining, it's pouring. Jacob, aka Dante, is walking down the road, like trying to get to the people to warn them about Leatherface. And Richter turns him around, and he's like, oh shit, like, your face is screwed, dude. And eventually he dies anyway, but it's a great scene. And then I thought of something, and when everybody, I told you, they had all these entrepreneurs, these young influencers there that were invited to come and go to the auction that they were having for Harlow, that Dante and Melody were having. So hashtag Leatherface is trending because he gets on the bus that they're all hiding on, and it's absolute TikTok terror because first of all, everybody pulls their phones out and they're all recording it, and he just starts slicing and dicing everybody on the bus. Literally, he's walking through by cutting everyone. So all you do is see all these huge, like, limbs, and you see feet and legs going this way, heads going this way, and people screaming, and it's just a mass murder. It's just blood every freaking where, dude. And I was just like, oh my gosh. I love the gore. I mean, come on, imagine going on live on your friend's page and seeing that. Like, what would you think? You'd be like, oh my god. So it's awesome. Some pretty good likes that I had about this movie. Like I said before, the gore and more gore. I love when movies have gore. And some of my friends or family think I'm weird when I say that. It's like, why do you want to see people get chopped up and like murdered and sliced up? And it's not about that. It's really just about the fact that somebody was creative enough to display that scene and make it look so much more real. That's what really gets me. Because I'm like, how can you even imagine that in your mind to know what that would look like? If you aren't a killer. Like, I think it's amazing that someone can come up with those different scenes, or even like I was talking about earlier with the makeup and how Dante got his face chopped and screwed. It's really cool. And the film started with a strong amount of violence to me. There was a car accident that was really bad, and like, Leatherface cut off his caretaker's face and was wearing it. Like, it started off really, really strong. And there was an excellent soundtrack with the movie and the ending scene. Honestly, I'm not going to tell like what happens exactly in the scene, but it's a great ending scene. And it wasn't something I expected, which always gets me because I always feel like I can predict how movies are going to end. And I didn't predict what happened. And I was kind of like pissed it happened. But I was like, damn, that was hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? But honestly, I'm like, can Leatherface die already? Like, dude, you are not Michael Myers, my dude. Like, we know that Michael Myers always survives because there's always another Halloween. He's always chasing his sister. But it's like, come on, dude. Like, Leatherface, let it go. Anyway, again, another like was, I like that the film coincided with like the trends and lifestyle of today. Like, you know, when Leatherface got on the bus and was killing everybody, like how everybody pulled their phones up and was like, "You're going on live, bro." And Leatherface was like, "The fuck? I don't care. I'm still gonna kill all y'all." So I like that they brought that kind of in, and made it, you know, current day, like presents, like things that happen now. Dislikes. So to me, there was not enough subplot. So I was wondering, you know, who is the woman that's taking care of Leatherface, and where was she during the 73 massacre? You know, where is all of Leatherface's family? Because in the beginning, he had a whole family. He had like a dying grandfather who was like, oh, I can't even describe the way he looked like. But, you know, he had cousins and shit. So I'm like, where are all these people at? And then who the fuck is paying all these city and county fees to keep Harlow the hell open? Like, why is this town still running? And nothing made sense in that aspect. It didn't tell us anything about like what Leatherface has been doing these past 50 years. I guess he's just been in hiding in this woman's house that nobody knew about before. And I guess he decided to just leave his family and hide in isolation because he was upset that Sally got away in the first film. I don't know. But it was weird. Dislikes again, it was kind of too fast paced in a sense, if I make, and I'm saying that again because of the subplot. I didn't get enough of the background of like what Leatherface has been doing, and I think it's a good thing and a bad thing because, like I told you earlier, the violence started off strong in the beginning, but then sometimes, you know, some people like a slow burn. You know, they want things to kind of take their time to get to that point where you're like, oh shit, like this is happening. And, you know, this is kind of a silly question, but why does his chainsaw still work? Like, why does he have the same exact chainsaw? Like, he didn't have to go to the store and get a new one, or, you know, I don't know. Do chainsaws last 50 years? I'm asking for somebody who knows about hardware equipment like that. I don't know, but it just seemed odd to me that he revved it up, 3 times, and the bitch was still working. But, you know, that's just me. Okay. And lastly, my biggest dislike and the thing I never can understand was how the hell did Sally survive enough after her brutal attack from Leatherface to give Lila advice? Sally tells Lila to never run because he'll haunt you. This is after Leatherface rams his chainsaw in Sally, literally picks her up with his chainsaw and is revving it, and then throws her like in a field like where there's trash bags and crap. And I'm like, how has she survived enough to say that to Lila? It didn't make sense because she had a really fatal attack, and I'm like, you would be dead. You would not be alive talking and giving advice. It was just weird. I don't know. And she had the energy to shoot him and make him run in the theater. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But things like that, they don't make sense to me. And I like for movies to completely tie in, you know, everything that I believe it should. So whether or not, I like to say, should I pump or dump this movie? And I use the word pump, obviously, because I'm a breastfeeding mom. And I'm going to say, I'm in the middle, but I'm going to say I would pump this movie. Just because of the gore, and the fact that they did a sequel, the makeup was right, you know, there was a good plot for the most part. It was entertaining to watch. It was fun to watch. You know, it was thrilling. It was a thrill of a ride. So I'd like to say I pumped this movie for sure. I do plan on focusing on some movies that I recently found out about really soon. No Exit, which is actually a book, I think, by Taylor Adams. And I haven't read the book, but I've been told by several people to read it. And basically about these people who get stuck at a pit stop in a really bad snowstorm. And they all have like a different story and past. But one of them is maybe a murder or holding somebody hostage in their car. And I think only one girl knows about it, but she's trying to basically hone in on like which one is it? Like who can I trust and who can I trust? And then I think shit gets real. And then Fresh. My aunt actually told me about this one. I have no idea what the premise of it is about at all. I'm just gonna go in blind and see if I like it, see if it's popping, see if it's something I want to talk about. And then some series I'm going to be focusing on. You guys, if you follow my Instagram page, The Breast Horror, you'll know that I love horror manga. And some big ones right now for me are Blood on the Tracks, From the Red Fog, and I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right. Orochi. This is a new The Perfect Edition, Volume 1. If you go on my page, my Instagram page, I made a post about it. So I'm really excited about all those new things, and I really hope that you liked my short review of this new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Again, not a remake, it is a sequel, and you can check it on Netflix. And I hope you guys tune in to see more of the books and movies and shows too. I'm gonna do shows eventually that you can check out and see what I think about it. All right, nice talking to you. Bye.